Hey, this is Don over at REI Automation Squad, and I wanted to do a quick overview of our Beast Mode Podio CRM for real estate investors. I'm on the home screen, also known as the activity screen. Here on the left, you have what's called the activity feed, very similar to a Facebook feed. And then over on the right, you have the task, the calendar, and then some reports. Tasks are going to be your daily task. If a seller calls in, you can see here, new prospect called in, call prospect back. If they call back in after they've already called before, or if they send in a text, all those are going to receive task. It'll tell you who called, date and time, and let you know that you need to return that call. The calendar, things like the offer expiration or the closing date, if you have an appointment, all that shows up on this calendar. You have the ability to connect it to a Google Calendar as well. We can help you with that. And then down here on the right, you have some reports. So I'll kind of scroll through that. You've got calls coming in that it's tracking. You've got mail that's going out that it's tracking. And then prospects as they're coming in, what campaign they're calling off of, how many are being created per day, how many appointments, monthly offer count, contract. As you're closing deals, it's tracking how that's happening. And then it's letting you know your gross and net at the end of the day for both monthly and annual. So at the top here, we've got what's called apps. And from left to right, property app, you'll spend 98% of your time in it. It's going to have seller's information, any property details, appointment details, offer, contract, and all of that information is stored there. Live calls come in, they would be stored here. Cash buyers, as they're calling in, we're tracking that as well, and they're being created here in this app. The mail tracker is tracking any mail that's going out. Your campaigns will track any of your KPIs, and I'll show you that here in a minute, what that looks like. Web leads is going to be anything like OnCarrot. We can bring those leads in and then make sure that that seller doesn't already exist, and if it does exist, we'll just let you know they submitted a web form with some of that updated information. If it does not exist, it creates a brand new seller lead. We're tracking team members, basically who's doing different items inside of the Podio app suite. And then follow-up. We've got CallRail and Slide Broadcast connected into here. You provide us with your login credentials. We connect everything. You have the ability to then follow up with local phone numbers using CallRail to send text and Slide Broadcast automatically to the seller. We provide some of those default campaigns for you, but you can set up some of your own custom ones as well. Training, we set you up with some videos out of the gate, about 18 of them. Let you know how to get started with the app suite, what the different apps do. And then on top of that, every week on Thursday, we do a hour-long Q&A question Zoom where I share my screen, you ask questions, and get them answered live every Thursday. If that doesn't work, we've got a ticket system where you can send in a ticket or support ticket, and we can answer those for you. Configuration app, you're going to provide some local details about your market, such as price per square foot for a low, medium, high rebuild or fix, what the average ARV is in your area, and then wholesale fee. If that's something you don't already know, let us know. We'll work with you to get the information for you. And then as calls are coming in, they're going to come into this app right here. Now, I'm going to jump over to the Property Leads app and let you see what that looks like. This is bringing in the seller's information as they come in or call in. It'd be a seller's name up here, phone number, date and time that it was created, and then it would be a new lead. You'd start working through the process of calling for information, outbound call, and then you'd let us know what type of outcome came from that. And because you're doing that, we're tracking how many outbound calls are being made on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And you can start learning some KPIs as far as how many outbound calls it takes to make a connection and eventually an appointment, offer, and contract, and sold property. So going down, we have the ability to basically set a next contact date. If the seller says call in 2 weeks or tomorrow or whatever the case may be, you put the date here, and there's a view on this app that we can show you where it's very easily to see which properties or sellers you need to follow up with on a daily basis. You can see here we've got a communication log, so as items are being created, as calls are coming in from sellers, you're placing outbound calls, texts are coming in, or you're responding to texts. You can text out to a seller directly in Podio using SMS : in the comment section. It will send a text message directly from your local CallRail phone number to the seller, and they can respond, and it'll come back in here and it'll set a task and let you know you need to respond. As they're calling, we have a call history right here. As you start putting in the information in for the property, you can see we've got the map and the Google images. It'll automatically bring back some of the Zillow data, meaning tax value, assessed value, and it'll start grabbing some of the bed, bath, and all that good stuff. You can see right here. It brought back all that, as well as the zestimate and rent zestimate for this property. And I'll show you another area where it's bringing back some data here in a minute. But you have your appointment section where you're simply filling in date of appointment, who said it, who's going, and type of person you're dealing with. We can provide some information on disc profiles if you're not familiar with what that is. As you're going out to appointments, taking pictures of the property and doing walkthroughs, you're providing the links here. And that allows later on for your disposition people or whoever's working with your buyers to provide some of those links to the buyers to view. Offers, you can see here, we're creating an offer, we're giving an expiration date and who did it. And then we have Total View, eAppraisal, and Zillow all connected to where it automatically brings back the values from those different websites, provides you direct links to the property itself. So if you click on this, you would view this specific property on their links. Zillow, this is the Zillow Solds links. You'll see the little yellow dots with some of the Zillow Solds and MLS Solds, so you can see exactly what stuff is selling for on that link. It starts doing some averages here. You click on the button to multiply your local low, medium, high against the square footage, get an estimated repair, and then eventually a cash offer calculation is automatically given down here. Now obviously this is a ballpark figure that we usually use, and then we start looking at MLS when we get into the nitty-gritty, but this is ballpark figures to talk with the seller. As you get properties under contract, you start tracking immediately if it's looking for buyers in escrow, you have it being rehabbed or you closed it, and worst case scenario, a deal fell through. You put in who the acquisition person was that got the contract, who's selling it, the disposition person, type of deal, and then you start going down the list of contract acceptance dates, inspection periods, and close dates, what you bought it for, what you're marketing it for, and what you sold it for, any expenses, and then because you've done that, we're tracking exactly gross and net profits. Now you can see here, that'll take that into the marketing section, and you'll get some KPIs on your campaign area that I'll show you here in a minute. You have your automated follow-up here. This is connected to CallRail and Slide Broadcast. This will automatically allow you to send out text from local phone numbers through CallRail, and Slide Broadcast meaning voicemails dropped onto their cell phone from the local phone number. Now, this is the marketing section, the campaign tracker. It's going to provide you live data such as how much you've spent, what the total opportunity was, what your response rates were, how many leads and prospects, number or cost per lead, outbound connections that you've been able to make as you're placing those outbound calls to these sellers, how many appointments, what the cost per appointment was, offers, contracts sold, and then eventually your conversion ratio, gross revenue, your average, your net, and your ROI. All of this stuff is automatically done in the back end of the system. You're filling in the fields, it's automatically doing the calculations. So this is the brief overview of the Beast Mode CRM, all set up for you automatically. All the coding, everything is done for you. You don't need to worry about it. As soon as we get you set up, your seller and buyer phone calls will come in to the different apps, and you'll be able to work your sales process and get them through the process and get some deals sold. Look forward to working with you. Let me know if you've got any questions. You can reach out to us at reiautomationsquad.com. We've got a chat function on our website or at our email of reiautomationsquad@gmail.com. Thanks and appreciate it.